Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the first episode of Reading Reviews. Today's movie is going to be Snakes on a Plane. I recently watched this movie and I thought it was funny. Not that it was, I don't think it was meant to be funny, but I thought it was pretty ridiculous and hilarious. But let's see what people say. So let's go with the least number of stars first. Let's start with 1-star rating. For the love of God, don't see this. I'd give this a negative rating if I could. I went into this movie not expecting much, but I had an open mind. The whole thing is stupid. The snakes are obviously fake, and the first two things they bite are a boob and a guy's Johnson. That is true. Like a boob and a penis. Obviously the snakes are fake. I don't think you want hundreds of real snakes inside a confined space with actors. I don't hold it against the people who made the film. Oh, how original. If I was a 12-year-old boy, I might laugh at that. I have no idea how this movie became so popular. I agree, I don't know how this movie became so popular. Seriously, the worst thing I've ever seen. There are worse movies out there. I wasn't entertained, it wasn't funny, I wasn't even bored. That's strange. I mean, wasn't entertained, wasn't funny, wasn't even bored, then must have found it funny or entertaining or something if you weren't bored. It wasn't even so bad it was good, just bad. I don't know. I wouldn't say it was good. It was definitely bad, but I thought it was entertaining. I kind of don't like this idea of like, oh, a movie is so bad that it's good. It's just bad. But it can be entertaining. Ridiculous, actually. Please do not waste your money on this movie. Don't even rent this movie. No clue how it's getting such a high rating. I do agree it's kind of shocking to see the movie get a majority average rating. Like on Rotten Tomatoes, it's 69%. I mean... and 5.4 on IMDb, that's, what you expect. Let's take a look at another really bad rating. When discussing a movie titled Snakes on a Plane, we should point out early that the snakes are pretty damn important to the plot. Well, yeah, I guess they are kind of important. What we have here are very bad CGI snakes that neither look nor move like real snakes. Snakes are scary because they appear to be slimy. Really? I would not describe a snake as slimy. A snail? Slimy? A slug? Slimy? But snakes? Creepy, maybe? These snakes do nothing of that sort. They glide along like they would in a video game. They are cartoon snakes. Well, I'd give them that. I wouldn't say they were super realistic. I mean, the movie is called Snakes on a Plane. I don't think there's a true story inspired by true events that has Tom Hanks playing the pilot in this one, so it wasn't as shocking to see that the snakes looked completely fake or CG. And honestly, I wouldn't expect anyone to put crew and cast in a small confined space with 50 snakes. I would even go as far as to say that someone who has a major phobia against real snakes would not find these ones scary. Well, I don't know. I don't have a phobia of snakes, so I can't tell. Why on earth then would you want to include extreme close-ups of these CGI failures? Why not rely on suspense? I mean, really? I wouldn't call this a suspenseful movie. It was just like, oh, let's make this funny, silly, stupid movie. That's kind of how I felt it was. So, it wasn't suspenseful. An Alfred Hitchcock movie is suspenseful. This is like exactly what I expected. CGI fake snakes and people yelling and cussing. Take one look at John Carpenter's The Thing. Here we have real slime, gore of epic proportions. 20 years go by and we get this pile of stinking SFX crap. It's VFX crap, but still. Snakes on a Plane. When are these people going to wake up and smell the coffee? Special effects are going backwards. Well, I would disagree because the whole point of making this movie is because it's cheaper to use visual effects than to actually have live snakes on set. Comparing The Thing to this movie, it's just like, that's sad. I don't think anywhere it was marketed that Snakes on a Plane is going to be the next thing. So I think that's an unfortunate comparison. You can compare this with The Room, yeah, but not The Thing. If you're gonna watch this movie thinking that, oh, I'm gonna get something like The Thing, then you're obviously gonna hate it. Sure, we could say, but the movie is a joke. Get it? Sure, I'm with that idea, but do it well. Like I said before, I don't think you can just say, like, oh, the movie's so bad, it's so good. That is just, another marketing ploy you don't want to get into. It's just a bad movie. In addition to the above, this movie has crap dialogue, and the music and sound effects are not creepy or memorable in any way. Well, yeah, it did have bad dialogue, and yes, the sound effects weren't that great either. The SFX wasn't great either. I could handle every other actor being part of this movie except Samuel Jackson. What was he doing there? The man who starred in Pulp Fiction 10 years ago, is this career progression? Are you offering people value for money? No, I'd like to know what Tarantino thought when he was halfway through the stinker of a movie. Well, the industry is tough. I'm sure Samuel Jackson got paid a good amount of money to star in this film. And hey, if Pulp Fiction was a dime a dozen movie, like, for example, if everybody made Pulp Fictions every day, then I'm sure Samuel Jackson would be like, hell yeah, I want to be in that movie. But that doesn't happen. Pulp Fiction is a once in a decade thing, so a little unfair, but I get it. The current generation seem to have a very low expectation, and Hollywood seems to be offering them just what they want. On leaving the cinema, I saw a number of advertisements for some truly horrendous looking future releases, including Dead or Alive, another CGI animal film called Flushed Away, and another crap looking comedy nicknamed Click. Named Click, that's great, that's funny. In addition to this, I saw some awful trailers, including one for a British crap horror comedy movie. I don't know what that movie is, I'm curious to know. I've truly not seen the movie industry in a mess like this for a long time. Yeah, I can feel the frustration. Sometimes it does feel like the movies that are coming out are pretty strange. Like Snakes on a Plane, you would not imagine this movie being made. I would assume there's something out there that, is more attractive than this. But, clearly they made money out of this. So it's a $33 million movie. And it made $34 million. And worldwide, $62 million. So you can't blame Hollywood at that point. And I'm sure that's what the producers wanted. They're like, okay, how do we put in little amount of money and double it? We all got conned, but it works. And I can't say that. I can't say we all got conned. There are 10-star reviews. So people did like this movie. So unfortunately, this guy was not the audience. Expect to see this movie for sale in DVD bargain section for £1 in 6 months' time. And if you're expecting to see a black comedy with tones of great-looking snakes and some badass cool dialogue coming from Samuel Jackson's lips, forget it. Well, I don't know what he means by black comedy. I didn't think it had a dark sense of humor. Did he just say, like, okay, it's a little racy, but... Well, it is available to watch for free on a lot of platforms, so you don't even have to go to the bargain section. Alright, let's see 10-star reviews. I'm sure there are 10-star reviews. Let's see what people say. Alright, let's do this. Warning, contains spoilers. What is there to spoil about this movie? Okay, oh yes, Snakes on a Plane does indeed rock. That's the title. Wow. A small part of me has died today. I realized something when I exited the theater, fresh from the pre-screening of Snakes on a Plane. Wow, pre-screening at the cinemas at which I worked. Well, okay. That I may never see another film that rocks this hard. If you're looking for a deep, introspective look at the horrors of airborne terrorism and reptilian exploitation, look somewhere else. Fair. And don't complain about it. Again, fair. If you are like me, and I would assume you are since you're reading my review, I wouldn't say I'm like him, but hey, and are looking for a solid hour and a half of kick-assery, then congratulations. You just hit the jackpot with Snakes on a Plane. Wow. It's interesting to read what people think. I can honestly say that this film lived up to my every expectation. I was so pumped at the end of the movie that I threw my shoes across the empty theater in a fit of ecstasy. Wow. Why would you throw your shoe across the theater? I mean, that's an interesting way to show that you're excited. I can't tell if this guy is trying to be ironic or if this is like an actual review. I don't know if he's like, fuck this movie, or if he's like, yay. Oh man. He does say, I kid you not. Maybe he's not being sarcastic. Boiled down to this very essence, Snakes on a Plane is pretty much the essence of all that is manly. Okay, now we're seeing something weird coming up to the surface. Think of it like an anti-chick flick. Wow. If you enjoy any of the following, then this movie is for you. Gruesome deaths, breasts, cheesy physical humor, Samuel Jackson, or venomous reptiles. This is great. This is exactly what people want to hear. Gruesome deaths, breasts, cheesy physical humor, Samuel Jackson. I love how Samuel Jackson fits in there with gruesome deaths, boobs, and physical humor, Samuel Jackson. I think that's what people think of when they think of Samuel Jackson. That's just, wow. Samuel Jackson deserves better. Plot is pretty thin. Something generic about a kid who witnesses a mob murder and has to be transported to LA to testify in court, but I doubt anyone will mind. Yeah, there's like, who's looking for story in this movie? That's just like, if you're looking for story in this movie, then, you know, I'm sorry. You're just gonna be disappointed. There's a plane in the air that has both venomous snakes and Samuel Jackson on board. Samuel Jackson defeats snakes in a number of awesome ways. Okay, I guess so. Which I will not reveal as to not diminish their awesomeness, and simultaneously deals with whiny, stereotypical flight passengers. Yeah, it was pretty stereotypical, I'll tell you that. Trust me though, seeing the snakes rampaging through the planes and wreaking havoc on said stereotypical passengers is indeed sweet. I want to just go on the record and say that this person has some unresolved anger issues, but let's move on. The acting is as solid as one could hope from the cast. Jackson takes front and center stage, obviously. Honestly, I can think of no reasons not to see Snakes on a Plane. I can think of a lot of reasons. Sure, the critics will tear it apart left and right. There's no doubt about it. However, coming from someone who is ready to accept the film for what it is, I can honestly recommend it to anybody who can appreciate its nostalgia. All things considered, Snakes on a Plane will undoubtedly be the most enjoyable and the most unlikely blockbuster of the summer. A solid 10 out of 10. Wow, I got scared reading that review. Maybe I shouldn't be watching this movie. Alright, let's look at another 10-star review. I can't remember both entering and exiting a theater this excited about a movie. Man, it's people are like too excited about this movie. I don't know why. Maybe I was swept up in the enthusiasm of the local premiere audience. So clearly these guys are all watching this movie for free. So I can understand why they were so excited. They're like, oh my god. I'm willing to consider that. Snakes on a Plane blew my mind. Did the CG snakes look computer generated? Absolutely. Was the plot ridiculous? Entirely. What's important is that everyone knew that much before they bought their tickets. That's a good point, because, you know, you're not expecting Shawshank Redemption when you're walking into this. When you go to a movie like Snakes on a Plane, you know what to expect until the rare occasion when your expectations are blown out of the water. I don't know. My expectation was not blown out of the water. Let's see what he's talking about. Think of the most ridiculous, entertaining, and satisfying ways a person can be bitten by a snake. Snakes on a Plane has your personal snake bite fetish covered. Okay. Getting into the weird zone. Add in B-movie C-cups, a healthy dose of camp, fantastically terrible dialogues, and a highly satisfying ending, and you have Snakes on a Plane. Okay, I can see why people hate this movie. Just because I don't think nobody wants to be associated with these weird fetishes that movies just bring out of people. Weird. I mean, I enjoyed the movie. I did not like it. I enjoyed it. This weird crap that was playing in the background, but man, what? A lot of, masculine frustration and sexism coming out. Not pretty. Alright, I'm gonna stop reading the 10 out of 10 reviews because, wow. It's crazy. Alright, that's it for episode number 1. I don't know, I kind of felt really freaked out by this. So, maybe the next one I'll pick a movie that will not reveal some pent-up aggression. So, that's it. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more episodes.